So dear participants, this is the last session for today. The topic is principle of plant tissue culture and the concept of totipotency. Finds two topics to more interactive session for the purpose of practical kind of thing. So this principle of plant tissue culture, I have kept it two objectives, and for totipotency another objective. So in objective first, we will be familiar with the protocol in plant tissue culture. By the time, with the help of these two lectures from morning, you are now able to understand the basics of plant tissue culture and related techniques, and some of the variations, some of the basic concepts related to plant tissue culture. And now the objective is in front of you is uh, be familiar with the protocols in plant tissue culture, how you will start and how it looks like, because this whole technique, this plant tissue culture, is more a practical aspect. Without knowing how and why, you can't proceed this plant tissue for the application of aseptic techniques in plant tissue culture. So now we just the plant tissue culture and put only those things which is regularly being used in an tissue culture laboratory. Used to propagate clone of a plant. In my first time, one of the students asked that, is there any trait which we going to develop? Yes, we can develop a trait only when it is induced. Otherwise, we just produce clone of a plant. Fine. So there are various reasons this may be done to create exact copies, the Xerox copies of the plants that produces a particular good flower or fruit. Fine. And to quickly produce mature plants, you know that it takes less time for anyone to grow in at its fullest when it is provided with adequate supply of nutrients and all the necessary ingredient. Fine. And to produce multiple of plants in the absence of seeds or necessary pollination produce seeds. You know, this tissue actually produces a whole plant. These are any virtual plant can be grown in whole set of plant. Fine. So used to regenerate whole plant from plant cell that can be given you as a genetically modified entity. Here, the concept of introduction of new traits or a new character comes in the concepts of basic genetics and genetic engineering, both when you discuss the fourth point of this slide. So what is needed practically? I mean, both plant and animal have several critical requirements. The first one is appropriate tissue. Some tissues are better than others. Why better? क्यों अच्छा है? Fine. Because it is maybe it is young, it contains more dividing cell than other. These are basically two reasons which makes a specimen better than another. And we need a suitable growth media. A media, as I said, it is one of the most important requirement to proceed a tissue culture technique. It contains energy sources, it contains inorganic salts and other factors which is supplied consistently or intermittently. The case may arise where there is a need of supply of a consistent media, and there are the cases where there is no need of consistent supply. It depends upon what you want. Fine. It can be liquid or it condition. In my first lecture, I have said that microorganisms grow more quickly than plant and animal tissue and can overrun a culture, can destroy your whole experiment. This is, you can say, the growth of fungus in a jam bottle. Destroyed the whole media and the seeds which is kept on the culture media. Fine. It generally takes 24 hours to 7 days to grow a microbe in a tissue culture experiment, and it can destroy the whole system. There are growth regulators. You know what are growth regulators? It is the hormones which are the growth regulators. So in plant, both auxin and cytokinin play a major role as a growth regulator. Fine. In context to animal cell culture, I mean, in animals, there is not well-defined, as well-defined, and the growth substances are provided in serum from the cell types of interest. And here, just the combination of these two hormones can create a wonder. Fine. And which need, this is where the costing of the tissue culture increases. Fine. And frequent subculturing is needed because it ensures the adequate nutrition and to avoid the build-up of waste conditions. Any living organisms, when it grows, it releases several toxic elements. It releases several alkaloids. It releases several secondary metabolites. These are sometimes growth regulators, but in most of the cases, these all are considered as waste material. When the waste material starts stockpiling, it actually exhausted the media at that very moment. So you need frequent subculturing and aseptic techniques. And in 2 or 3 lectures, you people are now well aware of this aseptic techniques. Here I am very much specific. I am just taking that is 121 degrees centigrade for 15 minutes, and transfer chamber, laminar airflow, they all should be in a aseptic condition. Fine. And when you have started tissue culture, always keep 70% ethanol with you in every time. I mean, every 5 minutes, 7 minutes, 10 minutes, you just clean your hand with the help of this 70% ethanol. Fine. Now the steps. Selection of plant tissue. Fine. Healthy, vigorous mother plant. Okay. This is how these all techniques, it actually looks like this. Must be sterilized to remove microbial contamination. And this is a culture type. Here is the adult plant, and you are with the help of this embryo culture, organ culture, callus culture, or cell culture, you are again producing a new adult plant. But here you have an advantage. Virtually, you can produce n number, that is infinite number of adult plant with the help of this tissue culture. Why? Because you can preserve the callus culture. Once you preserved it, when is the time needed, when is the need arises, you can subculture it, you can change the hormonal concentration, and that will ultimately lead to the production of a new adult plant. So virtually you can produce infinite number of plant only with the help of one petri dish. So now establishment on the plant. Establishment in a culture media. The medium sustain the plant cell and encourage cell division. And media, as you know, it can be cell, solid, semi-solid, liquid, whatever the case may be. So each plant species has a particular medium requirements that must be established. And here again, the cost of tissue culture increases, because I have in my first lecture, I have quoted example of Google. This Google, it is really difficult to grow in a culture lab. A lot of variations, different kind of combinations of media, different kind of combination of hormones, several inducers, growth regulators, these all are being tested. And just to optimize the condition to grow Google in laboratory condition, one lab in Delhi, it actually spent more than 10 lakhs just to optimize the condition to grow this. So sometimes it increases the cost, but yes, this is also the case where you have established to grow a very quickly help you generate funds. And the multiplication, this explant gives rise to callus. You know, callus, I have this is being quoted by me and Nitin sir several times. This is a mass of loosely arranged cell which is manipulated by varying sugar concentration and growth regulators to form multiple shoots. This callus may be subdivided a number. So these are dividing shoots. These all experiments is conducted inside a laminar flow. And this is the racks, where after subculturing or initial culture, you have to put the bottles or petri dishes on the racks. So after some time, in the third stage, the root formation takes place, patches in this jam bottle. These are actually roots. Here it is not visible. Root formation is the last stage inside the jam bottle. When the roots has come, it means the plant has now all the organs available, all the system available to grow outside. Fine. So the shoots are transferred to cytokinin ratio. This ratio actually helps, when you want to grow shoots more, you have to keep cytokinin concentration high. If root, then you have to keep organ concentration higher than cytokinin, long back. So these are the benefits of plant tissue culture. It always produces virus-free plant, because if any contamination is present inside this jam bottle, it ultimately kills the plant. So there is no question of any kind of infection when you grow a plant through a tissue culture method. So plant tissue bank can be plant culture in approved media are easier to export than our soil grown plant space. Fine. Then tissue culture allow fast selection of crops. Fine. And it is actually having upper hand when we go through conventional methods. So this is all about this. You have already seen how we start any tissue culture. In most of the cases, in the picture, there are the Nicotiana benthamiana and small leafy plants were being taken because its protocol is well established and it is easy to handle in some cases. Fine. So my second objective is cellular totipotency in plant. So what is cellular totipotency? You know what? It is actually ability of a single cell and divide and produce all the differentiated cell in an organism. So it is actually a potential of a plant cell to produce the entire plant. And if this potency is not present in plant, if aisa hota, then we can't do a tissue culture, because in our tissue culture experiment, we actually using the inner power of that plant tissue, namely totipotency. So isolated cell from differentiated tissue are generally non-dividing and quiescent. To express totipotency, they have to undergo de-differentiation and they re-differentiation. Fine. Quiescent matlab in a stage which is not dividing, it's a no dividing stage. Fine. So in Latin, totus means entirely and potens means power. Fine. The possibility of regenerating an entire plant from a single or non-diabetic cell was first proposed by Haberland, and he actually founded the base for the whole tissue culture stories. I just some participant might have thinking that is there any anything similar in animal system, because we all know time it is difficult to produce clones, because after attainment of maturity, our cells, our tissue cannot be and again become a totipotent cell. So to maintain this argument, for this argument, I just want to share some ideas. The spores are zygotes. Both are examples of totipotent cells. So in the spectrum of cell potency, this totipotency represents the cell with differentiation potential, being able to differentiate it into embryonic cell as well as extra embryonic cell. There is a similar terminology which is called pluripotent. Pluripotent cells can only differentiate into embryonic cell. Fine. So it is possible for a fully differentiated cell to return to a state of totipotency, as I have shown in this slide. The conversion to this totipotency stage is very complex. And if I say it is not fully understood, and I am not wrong. 11 and 12, one research is shown that cells may differentiate not into a fully totipotent cell, but instead they first go into a stage. That stage is called complex culture variation of totipotency. In in animal system, the stem cells, they resemble totipotent blastomere from two cell stage embryo, which can give rise to spontaneously into a mouse embryonic stem cell culture. Now I am a little bit discussion about the human developmental model. This model is being discussed so many times, and so many Nobel Prizes are given in this domain. The human developmental model is one uh, which can be used to describe about this totipotent cell. This human development begins when a sperm fertilizes an egg, and the resulting fertilized egg creates a single totipotent cell, and that single totipotent cell is called zygote. In the first hours of fertilization, this zygote divides into identical totipotent cells, which can later develop into any of the three germ layers of the human. You know the names of the three germ layers? These are endoderm, mesoderm, ectoderm, or maybe in the cells of the placenta. Fine. So after reaching the 16 cell stages, the totipotent cell of the morula, morula, blastula, gastrula, these are when zygote start dividing. So after reaching this 16 cell stage, the totipotent cell of the morula differentiated into cell that will eventually become either the blastocyst inner cell or the outer trophoblast. So approximately 4 days after fertilization, after several cycles of cell division, these totipotent cells begin to specialize. The inner cell mass, the source of embryonic stem cell, it is actually become pluripotent. I mean, it is now more specific, and it can give rise to only, the embryonic cells. I just want to suggest you participants, because this is a learning platform where you can suggestion that if you want to study more about this, just study about induced pluripotency. And there is reprogramming is happen in this induced pluripotency, and one Nobel Prize is being received in the year of 2012 by a group of scientists in the field of physiology or medicine, and the bigger domain was induced pluripotency. Now I come to the plant system again. So in the year 1950, they had growing carrot plant into an isolated phloem cell. They actually take the transverse section of carrot root and go to consistent steering. Fine. This consistent steering actually helps to grow actively dividing cell in a more lucid manner. Then single cell free and suspension began to divide. And finally, the plant were cultured on the agar media, and it was then planted in the soil. This is how they succeed in growing carrot plant from one isolated phloem cell. Here you have to remember that if cytokinin is more, in 2 slides back, I have told you that it is, and if it is a low ratio of cytokinin to oxygen, that is oxygen is more, then it leads to root development. So this totipotent cell differentiated into, can be differentiated into embryogenesis through, through embryogenesis, through organogenesis, or through histogenesis. If it is gone through embryogenesis, then the intermediate will be embroid, and through this embroid, the complete plantlet will come. And through organogenesis, this is the way we are using in the tissue culture lab. These three are mentioned here: collagenesis, rhizogenesis, and colororhizogenesis. So if it is collagenesis, then only shoot will appear. And if you want to go for root, you have to change the growth regulator combination ratio. Rhizogenous roots will produce, and colorgenesis, it will shoot with root. So histogenesis or cytodifferentiation, here xylem, phloem, etc. are taken into consideration. So the culture system, callus culture. You know that callus is an unspecialized, unrecognized, unorganized, growing and dividing mass of cells, and it can maintain indefinitely. Only you have to subculture it, and it is suitable for cytodifferentiation. It can grow in dark, but if you put in a dark for a longer period, it will become, it changes its color. Then again you have to subculture it with the help of 16 hours or 14 hours of light period. And a type of culture in which single cell or small aggregates of cell multiply while suspended in agitated liquid media, and it is more homogeneous. And it is supplemented with several inducers such as sugar, oxime, or other cytokinin. This is one of the ideal medium for the study of production of secondary metabolites. Fine. And it produces mutant cell clone from which mutant plants can be raised. And with the help of suspension culture, it is possible to analyze biochemical pathways related to differentiation of cells. Now I'm coming to single cell culture. This single cell culture is a method of growing isolated single cell aseptically on a nutrient media under controlled condition. This is the definition of single cell culture. It can be isolated from variety of tissues and organs of any green plant. Fine. Or you can take callus tissues and agitate it, and you can take out the single cell, and that single cell can also be grown into a full plant. So this single cell culture का use क्या है? Why we are using this? To study the biotransformation and to study the metabolic pathways and to study the effect of any toxic material. This single cell culture is an ideal method to follow. This is how, this is just a diagram to show the development of tobacco plant from a single cell. This is callus tissues. This is unorganized mass. In later lectures of mine, I will show how callus of Nicotiana looks like. This is suspension culture, and with the help of this shaking, the single cell can be isolated from there with the help of some expertise. And this is now culture in a micro chamber, which is supplied by aeration and other control condition. And that single cell then convert into a tiny tissue, and that tissue can be grown again in a specialized chamber supplemented with media and other growth regulators. And here the mature plant will come. This is a diagram. This is the process through which a single cell can be obtained and the mature plant can be grown with the help of this single cell. And there are some factors which actually affects the cellular totipotency. There are several factors, but I've chosen 3 or 4 of them. Source of explant. It is one of the major factor which affects totipotency. Fine. Organ that serves as tissue source, physiological and ontogenic age of organ, season in which explant is obtained, its size, and I am talking about the overall quality of the explant, which affect the cellular totipotency. Nutrient media and constituent, that is inorganic macro and micronutrients, carbon and energy source, reduced nitrogen source, plant growth regulators. These all are another factor for practical cellular totipotency run inside a lab. And that physical form of media, pH of the media is one of the important factor. There should be consistent light and dark combination of supply. Temperature, if it is higher, then the media start melting itself and it is not going to provide the adequate supply of nutrient. Relative humidity and gaseous atmosphere in the vessel. Relative humidity is one of the factors when you start doing work inside a lab using this plant tissue, with this plant tissue culture technique. The change in relative humidity is very much because in our country we are seeing 6 seasons, and during the rainy season there is a high chance of fungal infection. And if you have not maintained the RH, that relative humidity inside a laboratory, there is a high chance that fungus grows. And if fungus grows inside a laboratory, you can't control. Once it grows, it will destroy your whole set of culture in 2 or 3 days. So this relative humidity, it seems that it is not a much important factor, but yes, it is a very much important factor. So Roma ma'am, you can come online.